Snakes have always fascinated people, for good and for bad. I gotta admit, they do emit some sort of cold-blooded charm that makes them so interesting, but at the same time, I personally don't want to get close to them. But we're not here to talk about the snakes that are most likely to win a beauty contest. We're here to rank the biggest and the baddest serpents of them all. With that out of the way, what snake could have landed on the top spot if not the Titanoboa? Stay tuned to find out. Here are 10 giant snakes. Number 10. The Dark-Spotted Anaconda. The Dark-Spotted Anaconda is smaller and lesser known than its gargantuan cousin, and more on that one later, but these guys grow pretty large themselves. On average, these guys can grow between 51 to 83 inches and can weigh up to 66 pounds, which of course doesn't sound too impressive, I suppose. While it is true that those measurements seem a bit underwhelming, they've been known to get bigger, much bigger. The biggest dark-spotted anaconda ever recorded measured in at 9.8 feet in length, and that's a full 3 feet more than the average. It is a semi-aquatic species as well, usually found in swampy, seasonally flooded freshwater areas. They can be found in South America, North Brazil, particularly in the Pará and Amapá states, and French Guiana. Number 9. The Boa Constrictor. What snake list isn't complete without a mention of the good old boa constrictor? Boas are non-venomous constrictors found in tropical Central and South America. Like their anaconda cousins, they are excellent swimmers, but prefer to stay on dry land, living primarily in hollow logs and abandoned mammal burrows. Significantly smaller than anacondas, boas can grow up to 13 feet long and weigh more than 100 pounds, with the largest specimen ever caught measuring in at 14 feet in length. Their jaws are lined with small hooked teeth for grabbing and holding prey while they wrap their muscular bodies around their victim, squeezing until it suffocates. Boas will eat almost anything they can catch, including birds, monkeys, and wild pigs. And much like all snakes, their jaws can stretch wide to swallow large prey whole. Boa constrictors were some of the most distinctive markings of all reptiles. Depending on the habitat they're trying to blend into, their bodies can be tan, green, red, or yellow, and display cryptic patterns of jagged lines, ovals, diamonds, and circles. It's this wild palette of colors that make many snake enthusiasts want to keep them as pets. Number 8. The Yellow Anaconda. The yellow anaconda is a non-venomous boa species endemic to southern South America. It is one of the largest snakes in the world, but its size can't even come close to its green, much larger cousin. Again, more on him later. The color pattern consists of a yellow, golden tan, or greenish-yellow ground color overlaid with a series of black or dark brown saddles, blotches, spots, and streaks. Females in this species are generally larger than males. On average, they grow to about 13 feet long and weigh 77 pounds. Finding larger specimens can be rare, but there is one that measured over 15 feet long and weighed 121 pounds. Honestly, that's about enough to land it on the 8th spot on this list anyway. They are plentiful in the Paraguay River and its tributaries, from the Pantanal region in Bolivia, Paraguay, and western Brazil to northeastern Argentina, and possibly parts of Uruguay. They are solitary snakes that can be active both during the day and night, and they spend most of their life in or around water, so much so that they're sometimes known as the water boas. These snakes are considered timid and usually try to escape from predators. However, if threatened, they will of course defend themselves. Number 7. The Amethystine Python. Coming in at number 7 on our list is the Amethystine Python. It's been recorded at a record length of 24 feet, but more frequently at lengths of about 10 to 15 feet. It is a dull olive brown or greenish-yellow in color, but the scales do have an overall amethyst iridescence, which produces an attractive shimmering effect, especially in sunlight. This makes it one of the most beautiful snakes you'll probably ever see. This species is found in tropical rainforests and scrub forests in Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Australia, and the Philippines. Small, younger pythons tend to spend most of their time up in the trees to avoid predation. Large ones spend most of their time on the ground in mangrove swamps, dense rainforests, or along stream and rivers and scrublands. They're also very excellent swimmers. Like most of the large pythons, amethystines feed on a variety of small mammals such as fruit bats, rats, and possums, and they will also eat small and medium-sized birds, and also occasionally even large lizards such as a monitor. Number 6. The Indian Rock Python. The Indian python comes from the forests of Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. Very much a loner, this snake lives alone except during mating season when they try to find a mate and, get it on. When hunting, it will often drape itself over branches or coils up on the ground, waiting to ambush prey. You can usually see these guys near water and areas that offer plenty of cover. The largest Indian rock python recorded was measured at around 21 feet, but can be commonly found at more manageable lengths between 12 to 14. Still, that's more than enough to land it on number 6. They can also tip the scales at about 200 pounds, by the way. Unlike many other snakes, the Indian rock python is a very protective mother. She lays anywhere from 20 to 100 eggs for about 3 months after breeding. She keeps them all together, and when she's done laying, she curls herself around her brood to protect them for 2 to 3 months. During this time, she rarely leaves them and continually twitches her muscles to generate a few degrees of warmth for her young. The babies hatch fully formed from the leathery eggs and leave the nest almost immediately to strike out on their own. Number 5. The African Rock Python. The African rock python is a large, non-venomous snake native to sub-Saharan Africa. It is one of the largest snake species in the world, and although it does rarely attack humans, it is still greatly feared. With the largest specimen measured in at 25 feet in length, it's not hard to imagine why. On average, though, they measure up between 11 and 13 feet. African rock pythons have a thick body covered with colored blotches, often joining up in a broad, irregular stripe. Like all pythons, the scales of the African rock python are small and smooth. Around the lips, they possess a heat-sensitive pit, which are used to detect warm-blooded prey, even in the dark. They are considered primitive snakes, possessing 2 functioning lungs, unlike more advanced snakes, which have only 1, and also have small, visible pelvic spurs, believed to be the vestiges of hind limbs. This harkens back to the days of snakes still having legs. Number 4. The Burmese Python. Native to the jungles and grassy marshes of Southeast Asia, Burmese pythons are among the largest snakes on Earth. They're capable of reaching 23 feet or more in length and weigh up to 200 pounds. With a girth as big as a telephone pole as well. Although they are often quite shorter than the African rock python, they make up for it in weight and girth. When young, they will spend much of their time in the trees. However, as they mature and their size and weight make tree climbing unwieldy, they transition to mainly ground dwelling. They are also excellent swimmers and can stay submerged for up to 30 minutes before surfacing for air. Burmese pythons are carnivores, surviving primarily on small mammals and birds. Although they do have poor eyesight, they can stalk prey using chemical receptors in their tongues and heat sensors along the jaws. They are constrictors, grasping a victim with their sharp teeth, coiling their bodies around the animal and squeezing until it suffocates. It also doesn't matter how large the prey is. They have stretchy ligaments in their jaws that allow them to swallow all their food whole. They normally eat mammals and birds, with items as large as deer and pigs being readily taken and always swallowed whole. Number 3. The Reticulated Python. Generally regarded as the longest living snake within the world, specimens having been reported up to 33 feet, but those reports are unverified. One reticulated python named Samantha was measured to be 26 feet back in 2012. These large snakes are extremely slow movers, but that's just to lull you into a false sense of security. When striking, these lumbering behemoths can still surprisingly move at great speeds. Their coloration and pattern was designed to allow the snake to blend into the leaf litter of the forest floor, where they lie in wait for unsuspecting prey. Reticulated pythons are usually found near watercourses amongst rainforests or woodlands. Small snakes will spend a large amount of time off the ground in trees and shrubs, while large adults are mostly restricted to the ground. They will then retreat into crevices and caves after feeding, with most of their activity taking place at night. They have a reputation for being an aggressive snake, and they will not hesitate to defend themselves by raising the head off the ground, hissing loudly, and if further harassed, striking repeatedly at the threat. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's best pick could have easily taken the number 1 spot on today's list. There's one big problem, though. They're already extinct. But these guys are so big that even the largest living snakes today dwarf in comparison. Find out next with number 2. The Titanoboa. 60 million years ago, in the swampy waters of what is now Colombia, there lived the Titanoboa, by far the biggest snake that ever lived. At nearly 50 feet long and weighing in at 2,500 pounds, it was 10 times as heavy as the average green anaconda. This makes it the biggest snake to have ever slithered on the earth. Titanoboa was actually so big that it pushed the boundaries of being able to exist on land and remain in accordance with the laws of physics. You, me, every cat and antelope, and every other creature that inhabits the earth, we've all been allowed to evolve under the constraints of gravity. Evolution got a bit carried away and produced the 100-foot blue whale, the biggest critter ever, only because gravity doesn't actually affect giants as much in the sea. Scientists reckon Titanoboa must have also exploited this kind of simulated weightlessness. It was so outsized that according to paleontologist David Pulley, almost certainly it would have spent a large part of its time in water, which in turn allowed it to grow to titanic proportions. No pun intended. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. The Green Anaconda. The biggest member of the boa family and biggest snake in general that is currently living, South America's green anaconda is, pound for pound, the largest snake in the world. Green anacondas can grow to more than 29 feet, weigh more than 550 pounds, and measure more than 12 inches in diameter. They reach their monumental size on a diet of wild pigs, deer, birds, turtles, capybara, caimans, and even jaguars. Anacondas are non-venomous constrictors, once again coiling their muscular bodies around captured prey and squeezing until the animal asphyxiates. Jaws attached by stretchy ligaments allow them to swallow their prey whole no matter the size, and they can go weeks or months without food after a very big meal. These guys usually top the list when the biggest are being talked about, which is true if we're talking about living animals. Sorry, Titanoboa, you're only at number 2. Do you agree with our rankings? Let us know down below in the comments. Also make sure to check out the channel's other amazing vids. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody!